What's up guys, it's Blaze from Funbox here, and look, I just want to make this video as quick as possible, maybe hopefully under 10 minutes. Let's take a look at the new GMS subscription model and compare it to the other engines and frameworks. I have one framework for you guys that are out there right now. So in case you didn't know, recently Yo-Yo Games came out with a new pricing model for our engine here. The engine that we mainly use on this channel, which is GMS2. Let's keep it simple. We have three tiers: free, indie, and enterprise. Most of you guys watching will probably be using either free or indie, okay? My pricing is coming up in yen because I am in Japan. And so just to keep it simple, 100 yen is about $1 USD. So just keep that in mind. And so basically if we go with the indie license, we just have to pay about $10 a month or about $100 a year, right? Let's compare that to enterprise. The only difference between these two is console exports. Now there's a star here, and basically you have to be a registered developer, and that might have extra costs. So that's why I say most people will probably be indie, because you have desktop, web, mobile, excuse me, and UWP exports as well. So the only difference between these two is console exports, which on top of paying about $80 a month, will probably cost a little more because you do have to pay for licensing for those consoles as well. Outside of that though, for the free, we can use everything. So if we scroll down to the bottom of this page, we can see all of the differences. So for us, if you're following a tutorial here, then these two things, GMS2, drag and drop in GML, that's basically it, right, for free. A long time ago, back in the days of 1.4, and even back before Game Maker Studio, when it was like, I think it was Game Maker 6 or Game Maker 8.1, you had to pay for GML, right? You had to pay for that, and drag and drop had to be, I think you could only have, there was a limit. It was restricted to what you could actually put into your drag and drop. So free, the scope of what's free now is a lot wider than it used to be, but that's just the nature of things. And of course for indie, you get a few extra things. Like I said, you get your desktop, you get your exports, so you can actually publish your game with GMS2. Considering my license now, I'm not sure if I can still export our demo that we're working on. If you guys are following the tutorial series, I'm not sure if I'll be able to export that. I guess I'll find out. So this is what we can do, right? Like I said, for enterprise, the only difference being console development between enterprise and indie. It is more expensive. So let's take a look at yearly. It's a lot more expensive, but you get these extra licenses. Keep in mind that you may have to pay extra if you want to develop for console as well. All right then, so that's GMS2, right? Let's compare that to Unity. Unity has quite a few more tiers available. Most of you guys, if you are thinking of changing engine, will probably be going to Unity Personal, maybe Plus. Now for Plus, we're paying per year, so the benefits that you get with Plus, I think, yeah, you can get collaboration tools with that. Most people probably won't. I mean, if you're a solo developer, probably won't need collaboration tools as much. Now, what these symbols mean is a check means it's included in the subscription plan. The plus means that there are extra costs, and minus is not included at all. So let's stick to personal and plus. The good thing about this is that with personal, you can actually publish your game, and you can include, if you're making it for mobile, you can include Unity ads and in-app purchases. So you used to not be able to do that with free. You used to actually pay It used to be more expensive for Plus. Actually, no. There used to only be Personal and Pro. So Plus and Enterprise are two new things. Or rather, Enterprise has always been there. It just wasn't, showed. But yeah, it wasn't shown, not showed. It wasn't shown to any of us. It wasn't obvious. But I mean, you got to make a decision for yourself. Ultimately, it's down to you whether you want to pay, $400 a year. You don't get console development for this. All right. Plus does not include console development. If you want console development for your Unity game, you will need to go with Pro. All right. All right. Now let's take a look here at financial eligibility. All right. So this is very important if you're choosing a plan for Unity. You guys can pause the video and read it there. But basically, you are eligible for personal if your income from your game is less than $100,000 in the last 12 months. Now, if you release one game on Unity, I don't think, right, especially if you're new, I'm not too sure if it will reach over $100,000 in the first year. It might happen, but don't expect it to happen, and that scales up depending on the plan that you have. All right, so that's that. Let's move over to Godot Engine. This one is a free engine, and it survives off of donations from Patreon, as you can see up here. Your game is 100% free to develop, export, and do whatever you want with. Okay, so this is an actual free to use engine, 100% free. Okay, so here it is. Permission is hereby granted free of charge to any person obtaining a copy of this software and associated documentation files. Right, it means that it is 100% free. Now, of course, if you want to customize that, I don't think it's open source. I'm not sure, actually. I haven't read anything about Godot being open source. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about open source, so I'm not sure about that. But it's 100% free. This is your free engine. I myself have been playing around with Godot for a little bit, and I think it's a really nice engine. I think it's really good. It is very different to GMS2. The language looks a little bit like Python, but I haven't used Python in ages. It's been a very long time since I've used that. But if you want a 100% free to develop and export and make money off of, Godot is the engine for you. I think there have been quite a few games made with Godot as well. But let's move over to Unreal Engine. All right, Unreal Engine it used to be a monthly. It's actually the other way around for Unreal Engine. You used to pay $30 per month for Unreal Engine 4, and then now it's actually all free to use. So for us game devs, we're looking at the publishing license here. And this gives us everything, right? Everything. So internal and free projects, custom applications, and linear content. This is stuff for, say, visual, oh my gosh, what is it? Like visual design stuff. That's what this license is for. So we're not interested in that. We're interested in this one, which is game development over here. And so we get everything. And we only start paying royalty to Epic Game Store after we start making 1 million USD from the game, right? So I'm going to assume every dollar above $1 million of revenue, you'll pay 5 cents of that, just as an example, right? So weigh that up. Having said that, though, Unreal Engine does have a code-free version, which is the node-based development. I forgot what it's called. But for me personally, I use C++. So it's a much steeper learning curve if you're going into programming. But hey, if you want power for a lot less, then this is for you, I guess. All right, so you can make 2D games and 3D games with Unreal Engine. Same thing with Unity, same thing with Godot. GMS2 is best for 2D games. You can push it to make 3D games, but I personally wouldn't do that for GMS2. Not saying that it's impossible, it's just there are other tools out there that you can use. All right, let's go to one framework. This is Monogame, and this is not an engine. This is, as I've said already, it is a framework. And what a framework basically is it gives you the basic tools to build your own engine. Right? So that's what Monogame is, and quite a few of the games that you may have played were made using this. So I think Celeste, Streets of Rage, Bastion, Stardew Valley. These games were all made using Monogame. So Tooth and Tail, there you go. This is a framework, right? So if you get Monogame and you expect to see an interface like GMS or Unity or something like that, you're not going to get that. You have to build everything from the ground up. So, well, not everything, but you have to build most things from the ground up. So if you want a big challenge, like an actual big proper challenge, then Monogame is the framework for you guys. All right, so let's go back to it. Game Maker, pricing model thing. Look, it was going to happen eventually, right? When it was acquired by Opera, this was going to be this was inevitable. It was always going to happen. For me personally, it happened a little sooner than I expected, but it's not a surprise that it did happen. So ultimately, it's up to you. Do you want to pay, $100 a year for your license to develop on whatever, web desktop? Or do you want to pay a little more for that? It's completely up to you. I'm still going to make tutorial videos. Having said that, though, I am going to have a conversion course from GMS2 to Unity coming up once I finish this first tutorial series that I've got. So there you go. There's the change for our engine, Game Maker Studio, in the context of all the other subscription models out there, assuming that there are any. All right, so that's it for me, guys. Let's get back to making games. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.